Pak Muhammad Siddiq ya, want to ask question ya.
Yep.
Please, Pak Muhammad Siddiq.
Okay, sip. Thank you. You can hear my sound?
Yes.
Okay, before that, thank you, Mr.
Edge Analytics. Yeah. So I'm going to give a bit of basics about it, and then we're going to go a bit about the product. Not everything, just the key features. What are the differentiators? What's different about it from other online system that does diagnostics, that does analytics, and a bit more on the analytics. I'll also talk a bit on Peak View and Peak View Plus. I'm sure most of you here are very familiar with Peak View. I think most of you are already long-time CSI users with PT Tiara. So I'm just going to be talking a bit about what is it all about and what is Plus. What is the thing that we call now Peak View Plus, right? And finally, we're going to end with success stories. You know, in Amazon, we like to talk about all these installations that we already did. What are the results that our customers managed to experience, and so on, and what are the takeaways from these stories. And last of all, I'm just going to close with one slide on other products that we have, just a short overview. And if we have time, I'll do a bit of demo on the software for our Edge Analytics, right? So that is the flow for today, and I think Jackie mentioned we're going to have 1 hour. So let me try to discuss this within that time, right? Okay. Okay, so let me start with the first. Okay, as I mentioned, we are seeing a major change in the way that many customers are doing their predictive maintenance strategy. And this is especially true when you're talking about Industry 4.0, digitalization and so on. I'm sure you're already familiar with this term. Everybody has been talking about it for the past 4 or 5 years, right? So over here you can see traditionally or currently, or maybe something that is in the past for some people, a lot of the machines are monitored. Maintenance of their machines are done this way. Typically, the most critical machines, the most critical assets for your power plants, of course, your turbine, for chemical plants, petrochemical, your compressors, for mining, your SEG, your ball mills. Definitely, there's going to be some kind of online monitoring there. So the most critical machines have online monitoring that is taking data 24/7, protecting the machine, and sometimes there is also a bit of diagnostics. And the majority of the machines in the plants, what we call those with medium criticality, or less, or we call essential assets, or some people say balance of plants. Most of the time, these are not monitored online, but instead you do your routine data collection, right? Using your portable analyzer, you can collect data once every 2-3 months and repeat the whole process. And also there's the last layer here, some machines, it's not even being monitored, right? You're just running it to failure and so on. So this is the traditional way. You're very familiar with it. Many people are doing it and then so on. So 50% time spent collecting data, and all your data have to be analyzed. That is the sort of the summary on this strategy. When we talk about modernizing this strategy and also with the coming of Industry 4.0, we are seeing a lot of this kind of change. A lot of customers are, planning to move towards this. So critical machine, the top layer here is still the same. Of course, you are still going to need your protection system, your online system is still going to be there. But for those less critical machines, your essential assets and so on, instead of 100% using route data collection, manual data collection, you can implement something that can automatically collect data for you, right? And this automatic data collection, what it does is it will flag out alarms for you. And that is when you go out to the field with your portable analyzer and you do your investigation, right? So not to say that you do not need anymore your routine data collection, you do not need anymore your portable. Portable is still very powerful for further investigation, because currently I'll say portable still gives the best data, right? In terms of the LORs, the data richness and so on, you still get a lot more from portable analyzer, right? So what it does is automatic monitoring here will give you an alarm, will tell you, oh, look at this machine, there's something happening here. Then you can go out to those machines and do your diagnostics, right? So that is what it means here now. All still you're getting better visibility because 100% data is collected, and now you can actually focus more on those machines that needs more attention. So 20% data to be analyzed. So this is getting, giving you more focus. You can focus more on those machines that are developing problems and so on. So this is the new way that we're seeing the new what we call the modernization of asset health monitoring, that we're seeing a lot of customers are trying to move towards, right? And of course, there's a lot of obstacles where anything new, any new practice, there's always obstacles. There's always, resistance to change and so on. So these are some of the barriers that you have to overcome. Of course, most of it are related to cost, right? You have to implement online. So either wireless or wired, you have to put in something there compared to doing a routine data collection. And then there's also the issue of shortage of human expertise to analyze the data, and also, of course, in terms of cost, you need to implement all this technology, all this IoT technology. Is the cost money and so on. Some people will still fall back to the old way of monitoring because it's the tried and tested, cheaper, and people are again resistant to change. So these are some of the barriers, right? So that's where we are coming in today to discuss how we can actually help to implement this transformation using our Edge Analytics, right? So let's start to the main topic here. As I mentioned and also in the title of our presentation today, you can see that term Edge Analytics. Yeah? So you might be wondering what is Edge Analytics all about, right? So let me just take a while to explain some basics here. So what is an edge device? It's very simple. Edge device is actually some monitoring, some device that is located near the asset, beside the asset, it's monitoring. So that's why it's at the edge, yeah, di ujung, yeah. So if you want to talk about in bahasa di ujung, so it's located next to the asset, and it's collecting data directly from the asset via sensors mounted on the asset itself, right? So that's what each device is all about, right? And you combine each device with analytics, you get Edge Analytics. So what it does is it computes the data on the spot, on the device itself. So what is the difference is sometimes or traditionally the device just collect data and send it to a computer, right? In the, let's say, in your control room, in your PDM room, and the computer does the analytics. But Edge Analytics, that is different. What it does is it will compute the data, right? So there's analytics there, and everything is done at the edge. So that is what basically what it means. What is Edge Analytics all about? So it really syncs, or it really matches with the trend that we're seeing today. That the earlier slide that I told you about modernizing your asset health monitoring, whereas previously or traditionally you collect data, you dump the data to a software, and then you have to manually analyze the data, and then you have to manually put out the reports, right? But with Edge Analytics, you're collecting data in the field. You're getting the diagnostics results in the field, and you can actually take action quicker, right? You have the results there. You know what to do. You can implement your work order faster, and so on. So that is the thing about Edge Analytics, what it does, and how it really matches with the trend that we are going towards to modernize your asset health monitoring strategy, right? So that is the where we're coming at now. That we're going to talk about what we call our AMS asset monitor today. So today, to this topic, we're going to focus more on this. Just a bit of introduction first. I'll go into more detail later on. So basically, this is you can say it's a junction box, right? Typical online system, and it only has 12 channels here. We have 12 channels, and you can take in whatever measurements. You can take in vibration, You can take in speed, you can take in process data, and so on. So depending on the cuts that you have here. And as I mentioned, it's an edge device. So of course, we have the hazardous area rating. It's very suitable to be installed in the field, right, next to your machine. Okay, so this is the edge device we are talking about today. And inside this device, there is some embedded analytics that will give you outcomes, will give you information on very common machine faults that might happen, right? So we have, I'm going to show you later on what are these common faults. And how do you get that data out? You just need a web interface. Again, I'll give more details later on. You just have to connect this to any computer, any desktop, open up a web browser, either Chrome or anything else, and you can easily see this output, right? So this is what the analytics will give you easily, and software is free. It's just through web browser and so on, right? Maybe from the point of view of the PDM guy, from the vibration guy, you might want more than the results. You want to analyze the spectrum and waveform yourself. Yep, it's possible as well, but you're gonna need to send this to our software, right? So that's a different area that I also gonna talk about that, but that is optional. Okay. So in terms of software analytics, that's what we have. And in terms of interface, yeah, so this is what the possible interface to send the data out as an option. I'll say this is an option, right? So I'm going to explain more about all this later on. So just to show you, these are some of the key features. There's a lot here, but let me just focus on 2 or 3. Of course, we're going to talk more about the built-in logics. That will be the most, I think, will be the most exciting topic that we're going to focus on today. We have some anti-friction bearing library as well. And then we have a browser-based interface, which makes it very easy to get the data out. You don't have to install any software, right? And of course, the design itself is rugged. We have the necessary certifications, IP66, NEMA 4X, industrial design, and so on. It's meant to be in the field beside your machine, right? So these are some of the key features. And this will be the most interesting point. The analytics, what are the analytics you can get out of it? So this the current analytics that are already available. And yeah, I say that because there's more coming, right? So this is still a very new product. It was launched in 2020, and there's still a lot more coming. And currently we have all this. It can detect anti-friction bearing for you, stiff bearing, imbalance, misalignment, and so on, right? And I'm going to explain more about all this later on. And of course, something interesting here also that maybe I think most of you have heard of it, PeakView Plus. So what PeakView Plus does is it can help you differentiate between lubrication issue and mechanical failure, right? So these are some of the analytics that's already available here, already embedded inside our AMS Aset monitor, right? And how do you get the data? How do you get the output? As I mentioned, it's very easy. You don't have to install a software. You just have to get connected to a browser, open up the browser, and this is the screen that you're going to get, right? And this is part of the demo that I'm going to show you later on. And you can see the analytics are displayed in terms of percentage. 100% means it's good, there is no fault. And 0%, okay, there's something that happened already, and this is Asset Monitor is picking it up, right? So as you see here, 0% looseness, and this message will pop up, right? There's a critical 3x, 1x running speed, and it will show you also where is this looseness coming from. You can see outboard horizontal vibration, right? Even the location. Okay, so that is something that previously wasn't there, but we added this in the updated firmware that you can see this happening, and it will tell you at which bearing, right? So very simple, very easy display, very easy to understand, right? And very clean, no heavy software that you need to install anywhere. It's very easy, very simple Edge Analytics that you can implement and start very fast, right? So that is the whole feature that we really want to focus on throughout this discussion today. Okay. So that was just a bit of overview to get you a bit excited. And just so now I'm going to talk about what are the key features, the components, how you configure it, how it does the analytics, how you get the data out, and so on. So that will be the next few slides. I'm going to talk about it, right? So okay, you saw the picture earlier. So again, just to show, it looks like a junction box, typical junction box here. And within this box, you have the cards inside. And the cards are the one that are the vibration card. It can be the process data cards and so on. So as I mentioned earlier, IP66 rating, NEMA 4X is very suitable for outdoor installation. It's powered up by a 24-volt DC, right? Let me see here. You have a LAN switch here. So there is an embedded switch inside. So basically, you can daisy chain many asset monitor together, and then one connection back to your control room or to your office for you to open up the browser, right? So that is some of the key points here. As I mentioned earlier, 12. We only have 12 cards here, 12 channels. What if your machine has more than 12 measurement points? Yeah, as I mentioned, you can daisy chain. You can combine multiple asset monitor together. So that is the solution, right? All right. So we go next to the cards. Very easy. There's not many cards that you have to think about. Of course, the most important is the vibration cards, right? So currently we do have these 3 cards: piezo, voltage, or tachometer, right? So piezo, of course, is getting data from accelerometer or velocity sensors. Voltage, this is new. We just launched this maybe 1 year ago. This is to take in your eddy current sensors, right? So we can even take eddy current sensors for you to be able to do your sleeve bearing diagnostics and so on, right? And last of all, we also have tacho, especially again, this is also new that we just launched maybe 1 year ago. So this is something useful for those that have a variable drive machine, right? Your variable drive machine. So you can even monitor it with this if you have a tachometer. And sensors that we can take in magnetic pickups, Hall effect sensors, and eddy current sensors, right? So these are the main cards: vibration chumps. We also have delta V chumps, our process data chumps. If you want to monitor, it's possible also. You can take in RTD, you can take in thermocouple, or any analog input with 4 to 20 milliamps. You can take it inside this asset monitor itself, right? We do have some requests. Can it be used as a protection? The answer is yes and no. Okay, yes. I will say yes, because we have this card as well that provides dry contact. So you can actually connect this to a tripping mechanism, your DCS, PLC, or your shutdown mechanism and so on, to make it as a protection, right? But the only thing is, the only downside, it's not API 670 compliant. So you don't use this for those critical machines, like your turbine or boiler feed pumps that need very fast shutdown, right? So the shutdown mechanism is there, but it's not fast enough to comply with API 670, right? So that is one question that we get asked commonly. So a bit more detail. I'm not going to talk a lot about this. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the vibration cards, we can take in accelerometers, velocity, and so on. And the outputs, we can display peak view, overall RMS, peak to peak, and zero to peak, right? So if you have sleeve bearing, we can also take it in. You need to use our voltage cards, VI voltage cards, that can take in eddy current sensors, right? And as I mentioned, for speed, for tachometer, we need a tacho card, and the sensors that we can take in currently magnetic pickups, eddy current sensors, and Hall effect sensors, right? So talking about sensors, yeah, these are optional really. You can actually use your existing sensors. You do not have to buy sensors from Amazon. As I mentioned earlier, as long as it's within the specs that we showed earlier, yeah, we can take it in. So there's no issues about sensors. You can use any sensors you have, right? including for process data, for your temperature, for your pressure, and so on. As long as there's a 4 to 20 milliamp outputs, we can take it in, right? For accessories, okay, these are some of the key things that I want to point out. As I mentioned earlier, it's to be mounted in the field. So we do have a bracket, mounting bracket that we provide that you can actually mount it on some poles or something. So this is part of the package. In terms of the connectivity, this is optional. You can either use LAN cable, but LAN cables have a limitation of 100 meters. If the distance is more than 100 meters, you might want to consider using wireless. So it's also available using a wireless router. And other than that, yeah, we do have all these are actually inclusive in the package. Cable glands, labels, and so on. This is optional, sunshade, right? If you want, if it's exposed to the sun, okay, maybe you might want a sunshade. Okay. So power supply, again, these are similar to sensors. You do not need to buy from us. You can actually buy anything off the shelf power supply as long as it's 24 volt DC, right? To power up the asset monitor. Okay, so these are the different accessories that's available with the asset monitor. And just to mention again on the wireless way of interfacing, because we're talking about digitalization and so on, and wireless being one of the hot topics. So of course, a lot of people also are interested in sending the data out via wireless, right? So it's possible. You just need to use a wireless router, right? And send the data out to your computer, to your DCS or whatever, right? So it's flexible, either wired or Wi-Fi hardware components. Okay, so let's go a bit on the configuration. As I mentioned earlier, it's a very easy system to set up. There is no heavy software that you need to install. Everything is thin client, right? Thin client meaning you just open up a browser, right? Type in the IP address, and you get this configuration display here, right? So everything is very simple and very clean. It doesn't take up a lot of your network traffic and so on, right? So configuration is done via this interface, and configuration is easy. We have experienced it before, typically 15 to 30 minutes for one machine. Of course, you need to configure your device name, the cards. You need to configure. You need to map the measurement points to the bearings. You need to mention the bearing type and so on, right? So that is some of the key things you need to configure. And this is something that we also recently added on. We also added a bearing database library inside the asset monitor. So similar to what we have in AMS Machinery Manager. If you know RBM Wizard, we do have a library there. We try to replicate it here, and we do have a similar bearing database here. So this is available as well inside our configuration software, right? One last thing that I want to mention, this is also something new that we added on. Previously, there wasn't any. Okay, we do have a very common question that a lot of our users ask on the analytics. Can I create my own analytics, right? The answer is no, because this is a closed box. But what you can do instead is you can create some basic logic, what we call predicates, on when you want to trigger the analytics, right? So it's available inside this asset monitor. You can create some simple logic. Example, when the vibration is this high, okay, do the analysis. Or when the machine running at this speed and the load is at this percentage, do the analytics. Something along that line. You can do that. So it's available. It's not really on the analytics itself. It's on when to trigger the analytics. So it's available here, what we call our predicates. Okay. So when do you use predicates? Of course, you want to know, you only want analytics when the machine's running, for example, right? And maybe you only want to know the analytics when the machine is running at this speed and the load is at 90%, for example. Then you want the analytics to run, because you do not want to be overloaded with data, right? That is the whole idea here, and you want to be smart about when you want the asset monitor to do the analytics. So that is something that is currently available, and we can do the logic inside here, right? So that is a bit on the configuration. Next, on the communication interface, I already talked about it earlier that we do have many ways, wired or wireless. You can do it either connecting the asset monitor via LAN, via Ethernet cable to your DCS, to your any desktop to open up the browser and so on. Or if you want, you can also use the wireless router for this, right? So there are many ways to interface, and of course, we can also send data out to DCS, right? And via Modbus or via OPC, so you can still get data via DCS to your DCS, right? Just like any typical online system. We don't have 4 to 20 milliamps. It's not available, right? So again, this is all on the modernization, right? We do not want to use any more 4 to 20 milliamps. So data output all is via OPC Modbus.
Hello, Mr. Adib. Sorry.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, sorry to disturb you. By the way,
Yep, Jackie. Hello.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Your voice is slightly disturbing. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, okay. Let me just on off again. Yeah.
A bit far away. Yeah.
Hello. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Please, Adib.
All right. Okay. Let me continue. Yeah, just stop me if the audio is not good. I think my headset battery is low, so
Yes.
I might need to change the cable. Right.
Yes. Now already good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Okay. So as I mentioned, interface to export data out, we do have via OPC. We can do it via Modbus. Let me just via Modbus is available as well, and Modbus TCP/IP, right? So these are the ways that we can export data out to your DCS, to your PLC, and so on, right? And for the diagnostics itself, you can just send the data out to any computer or even your mobile phone. You can even get it from your mobile phone if you have a wireless network in your plant, right? And type in the IP address, you can get this interface, web interface here for the diagnostics, right? If you want more than this, if you want spectrum, if you want waveform, you will need what we call our AMS machine works. So this is the software that is compatible with our AMS asset monitor. Maybe I just take this chance to talk just a few minutes about machine works. I'll say you are very familiar. Most of you are very familiar with our AMS machinery manager, right? So that is our current software that you use with your 2140, your 2130, and so on. Machinery manager will be phased out soon, and the new software will be called AMS Machine Works, right? So that is the thing that I want to share today, that we are working on the new software AMS Machine Works. So currently it's available only for asset monitor, it's available for wireless, but you cannot use it yet for our portable. So that will be in future, right? So that is something you can look forward to in future, our new software. Okay, so last of all on the analytics before we go to the other topics. Yeah. So as I mentioned, we do have asset templates available in the configuration. We do have fans, gearbox, motors, pumps, and so on. And in terms of the alarms and rules, we follow ISO standards, ISO 20816. So that is how the alarms are set up, and the diagnostics, the analytics are based on the alarms based on ISO, right? So that is the whole idea behind all this. And I mentioned this earlier. These are all the common faults that you can get: imbalance, misalignment, bearing, and so on. And with PeakView Plus, you can also get differentiation between lubrication and mechanical failure. So I'm going to talk more about all this later on the analytics, right? So as I mentioned, the rules, the analytic rules and alerts is based on ISO 20816. So you can set it up whether you want to make it class 1, 2, 3, 4, or you want to make your own custom alerts, right? So it's possible. All these are possible. These are the kind of customization that you can do. And the diagnostic rules, the analytics will be implemented based on the alarms, right? So if you set it up as class 2, okay, the alarms based on class 2 will be triggered and so on, right? So that is the whole idea of the diagnostics or the analytics that we have inside within our asset monitor, okay? So as I mentioned earlier, all right, so you can actually set up the alert limits first. Either you want to do a custom or you want to do based on ISO, it's up to you. And then all these diagnostics will be triggered based on the alarms, right? So as I think most of you are very familiar, for example, just to show imbalance, right? Of course, if you look at the one-time running speed, right? And if the alarm on the one-time running speed is triggered, the alarm based on either ISO or based on the own setting, it will trigger the imbalance analytics health bar graph that you see earlier, right? So that is how it works, and so on based on alignment. Same if we look at the 2x against the alarm setup, and so on, right? So these are the various analytic rules. If you are very interested, we can share more details with you, how it's triggered and so on. And the second page here is also showing all those alarms. And okay, so just to show a bit, I mentioned earlier on PeakView Plus. I'm not too sure whether any of you are familiar with it, so I just want to share today what it's all about, right? So I believe most of you know PeakView very well, right? Most of you are very good PT Tiara customers, right? So you must know about PeakView well. So just to share a bit, what it does is it does high pass filtering. So all the low frequencies are filtered out, and we only focus on the high frequencies, and even the negative measurements are inverted and to show positive. And next, what it does is we use a high sampling frequency to ensure that the peaks are captured. All right. Conventional method is this way. You know, you see this regular sampling, such as this. You're not really hitting the peak, right? So you don't capture all this. You don't capture all this. Whereas PeakView, what it does is, because of the way it does a high sampling frequency and the peak hole, you manage to capture all the peaks here, right? So that is the whole basic idea of what PeakView does. And of course, you do a FFT on this, and you get this kind of spectrum, PeakView spectrum here, right? And you can then overlay all your fault frequencies and so on to determine whether the problem is on your in a race, BFO, BFI, and so on, right? So that's the whole idea of PeakView. Maybe some of you are more familiar than me with it, or you're can explain it more technically than me. But I just want to share with you the overview of it, yeah, right? So that's PeakView. What do we do in PeakView Plus, right? So before I go to PeakView Plus, let me talk about autocorrelation. So autocorrelation is another useful measurement that you can get from our analyzer, all right? So what it does is it will tell you whether your vibration is periodic or whether it's random, all right? So basically you get this kind of measurement, right? If it's close to 1, it's high chance it's a very periodic measurement. Whereas if it's close to 0, it's a very random measurement, all right? So what is the significance of all this? If it's a periodic vibration, you can be sure that there's something wrong with the bearing. There is some bearing defect. There is some chip in the inner bearing or something. And machine rotates, you get this very periodic measurement, right? Whereas if it's a random measurement, okay, it can't be, there's very little chance there's some bearing fault, right? So it might be due to very high chance due to lubrication, right? So that is the whole idea of autocorrelation. And basically what PeakView Plus does is you combine PeakView and you combine autocorrelation together and you get this thing called PeakView Plus, right? Very simple, but again, the whole idea is simplicity to help you come up with, make decisions faster, to maintain your assets faster and so on, right? So that is the whole idea what PeakView Plus does. We combine PeakView and autocorrelation, and we can help you differentiate the problem, whether it's due to bearing problems or whether it's due to lubrication problems, right? So PeakView Plus is also available, part of the diagnostics within our asset monitor. Okay, so that is the everything that I want to share today on our asset monitor features and so on. And before we go to the demo, we like to share with you our success stories, right? In Amazon, we always like to show off our stories. So one of it is again the whole idea of asset monitor is, although it's not really something that we focus on 100%, but again, this is something that is quite relevant, that okay, we can actually focus asset monitor on places that don't implement PDM practice, but are thinking of it. All right. Example, in Hong Kong, we have this very interesting win at the MTR station, or what you call MRT in Indonesia. Singapore is also MRT. So what they need here is they have fans, they have big fans to monitor, all right? And because of typically they are using offline, they are using our 2140 actually to collect data on these fans, on the motors and so on. And it wasn't so effective. It wasn't picking up faults at the right time and so on. So they are looking for something to implement, and something more, something online to implement to get better visibility on the asset health. So asset monitor was selected, and it was implemented on this escalators, right? So very interesting. We always talk about the compressors, pumps, turbines, and so on, fans, blowers. This is one interesting win we have on escalators, right? Okay, another one. This I like to highlight this because we also get asked this question: can asset monitor be implemented on slow speed machine, right? And my answer is yes. And we have this one win that we had 2-3 years ago on conveyor, right? So the solution was, of course, we use asset monitor with a low frequency accelerometer. So we use a 500 millivolts per G sensor for this, right? And the analytics work fine, right? Of course, there was a concern that maybe the noise might interfere with the analytics, but so far the data that we're getting is good, right? I can assure you the data is still good. We're not getting noise or false alarms from here, false analytics results from here. So this is another interesting win that we had. This one is more conventional, because maybe we have some friends from oil and gas here. So I just want to highlight Eni in Italy. So they implemented as well on their centrifugal pumps, right? So of course the challenge was they have again critical assets, what they call medium critical assets that are not monitored, and they were looking for something to implement. Full-blown online system is too expensive and so on. So they tried to look for something like wireless or something else, and they decided to pick on asset monitor, and it proved to be very useful and so on. So this is something in the more conventional industry that we had. Last of all, this one was something that had some ROIs, right? That customer told us, oh, they really managed to have some savings and so on. So it's a company in Taiwan It's actually a pulp and paper company, but the installation was on the cogen plant. All right. So they have pumps, fans, cooling fans, and even compressors that they want to monitor using online. But again, the consideration was cost, right? If they implement a full-blown online system, there's going to be a lot of wiring and so on. And if they use their routine data collection, they're not going to get full visibility on asset health and so on. So this is so according to them, they implemented this and they calculated they already potentially there was something picked up here. This is a bit small, but there was some analytics that picked up some machine fault. They stopped the machine, they investigated, and it was a real machine fault. So there was a potential savings that they had 100K there due to this early detection, right? So this is something again proven, and there was already an ROI, return on investment. Okay. Okay, so a few more here just to show again on less conventional industries. This is on F&B. So they in US Ingredient, the company is called Ingredient. So they implement this on fans, and they managed to pick up some alarms here. And again, there's already visible ROI on these sites. Okay. Last one here, 3M. This happened during COVID time when they had to ramp up the production of the N95 masks. So they really couldn't afford any downtime, and they have to implement something on the extruders. So Asset Monitor was a very close fit to what they have. It was fast to implement. It was fast to give the analytics results and so on. And you do not need vibration experts to be there 24/7 to look at the data to analyze. So 3M again was a very good example about implementing it fast, getting the results fast, and so on. So that was another important exciting win that we had, right, using our Asset Monitor. So again, we like to show this. Asset Monitor is not restricted to the conventional industries, power plants, petrochemicals, oil and gas. No, we like to see more of this in all this. We even have some installation in Starbucks in US, right? In Starbucks. So as I mentioned earlier, F&B, manufacturing, and so on. We like to see more of it to be installed in all these locations where we can help the maintenance team, to better manage the assets, right? So again, it's not limited to this conventional in oil and gas or power, but there's a lot of potential to implement it in all these kind of industries. Okay, so before I go to the demo, I just have this one last slide to summarize the solutions we have. As I mentioned in the beginning when I introduced myself, I'm from our RS team in Amazon or reliability solutions. So these are the solutions that we have over here. You can see at the bottom, we do have our 2140, which is very well known already around the world. And we do have our wireless vibration. I'll say we are the pioneer in terms of wireless vibration monitoring. We launched our 9420 very early, and recently, past 4, 5, 6 years, there's been a lot of new models coming out from other vendors, right? And our latest model is called wireless vibration monitor, and we provide tri-X and temperature here. Other than that, we already talked about asset monitor, and we also have our online prediction here, right, to monitor more critical assets and so on. In terms of protection, we do have our AMS 6500ATG. So this is first of all, a protection system for those critical machines. And of course, there's also analysis available. We have to connect it to our AMS machine work software here, right? And on top here, I just want to show as well that we do have another level of software analytics here. And this is more on those machine learning stuff, getting process data as well, historical data, looking at patterns and giving root cause analysis and so on. So this is more on AI ML software that we have that's under Aspen. It's called MTEL, right? So we do have it as well. When you want to talk about analytics based on machine learning. Or if you want analytics based on known rules, we do have as well FMEA. So we do have templates available. Example, analytics for compressors and so on. So these are the two types of analytics that we have. Of course, on top of the standard, the usual AMS machine works that you're very familiar with, looking at spectrums and waveforms, right? Okay, so that is the whole thing that we have. I'm just focusing more on the rotating equipment side because I believe most of you are in the reliability or rotating equipment department. We do have as well on instrumentation, what we call our EMS tracks device communicator, and also a software to monitor instrumentation and valve. So similar to machinery, we also have a software for your instrumentation and valve that you can actually monitor it online for predictive maintenance. And of course, most of the time, all these instrumentations are smart, right? There is some, these are all smart devices. So what we do is we pull out all this smart data into a software and you can actually see it online, okay? So that is a quick summary of what we do in our reliability solutions team here in Amazon. Okay. Okay, Jackie, we have some more time, right? That
Yes.
a few more minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
Please continue.
Okay, so I just I just want to spend the next few minutes just to show it's a video demo. I do not have a live asset monitor to connect to, but don't worry about that. If you're really interested, yeah, you can call Rojaki, you can call Tiara. We can come with our demo and do it in your office and so on, right? So okay, so first of all, I just want to show you the connectivity. As I mentioned earlier, you just have to connect your asset monitor to any desktop. Open up your web browser, either Chrome, Google Chrome, or so on, and type the IP address. That's all, right? That's all. And the first screen that you get is this. This is what you're getting. This is, of course, only connected to one asset monitor, so you only see one here. And then you can see how many cards are there. You have 8 cards here, and so on, and the device status. So these are the first thing that you can see, dashboard of your asset monitor itself, right? And you can also see trends here, trends of your overall asset health, right? When you go to the next tab here, chums, these are the cards you have. As I mentioned, there are 8 cards here. So you can actually see here what are the different modules within this asset monitor. And okay, so this is interesting. This is a real database that we had that we actually captured from one of the customer sites in US. So it's a blower. It's actually a motor driving a fan, and you can see here all the analytics are good. It's monitoring. They want to monitor air gap, balance, imbalance, blade pass, looseness. These are what they selected, right? During the configuration stage, right? And these are the measurements that you get. So far, the asset health is good. You can see overall is 92% because of there's some slight bearing fault happening here. That's why it's giving 92%, right? So what happens next is there's some currently vibration is around 1 G, and when the vibration increased to 3 G, you can see immediately was picked up by the bearing analytics pick up something, and it moved to 44%, right? And when this happened, you get a pop-up here, warning, right? You get a pop-up, your bearing health is degrading to 44%, right? And when further damage happened, your vibration went up to 8 G, it went up to critical here. The analytics pick up something, and this pop up again, right? Critical. So 11% critical. So that is the kind of quick analytics result that you're getting out of your asset monitor. And again, once again, just to share with you the whole thing. The whole idea is to make it simple, right? It's quick to deploy, simple to implement, easy to analyze here. What was the problem, all right? This is not I will say this is not the good demo, but it was the database that we had. If because recently we have a new version, new firmware, what it does is this bearing, it will even pop up for another notification to show you which location, where is the location, right? So that is the enhancement that we made after we installed this. There was another enhancement that was released to show you where was the bearing damage, which location basically, right? So that's it. That is the kind of analytics you're getting. And maybe okay, I just a bit more details here. The analytics here, it's updated every hour, right? Every hour. If you want it faster, you can also do that. You can pick it up on demand. You need to click here, and it will calculate on demand for you, right? Otherwise, if you leave it every hour, it's going to be refresh. Okay, but measurements of course per second, right? Measurements you're getting at per second. Okay, so that is the kind of output you're getting here. And the interface that you see here is as you see, is just from via web browser. Anybody can open it, and it's very easy to use. Okay. Other than this, as I mentioned, a bit more on the predicates. You can set up logics when you want to get the analytics to happen. For example, as I mentioned earlier, when the machine is running at this speed, or when the load is this much percentage, then activate the analytics, for example. You can do that. So that is the kind of logic that's available, right? And alerts are captured here as part of the system event list. All the alerts are captured and can be exported out to DCS or to a Excel file and so on. So that's possible as well. So you can see all the alerts are here. Okay, and yep, that's it. Just a simple demo to show you what it looks like inside the Asset Monitor web interface, right? Very simple to implement, very simple to use, and very fast to get the results that you need to help in your maintenance, right? So that is the whole idea behind this. Okay. Okay, so that's about it. Those are the details that I want to share today. I think I covered most of it today. All right. So,
Okay.
yep, Jackie.
Okay,
Yep.
we go with Q&A. I think
Okay.
we have some question here.
Sure.
The first one is, could you please give one example from manual analysis to automatic or robot that device will analysis the result with correct answer? One example.
One example. Can you repeat?
Could you please give one example from manual analysis to automatic analysis?
From manual analysis to automatic analysis.
Yeah, to Asset Monitor Analytic. Yeah.
Okay, maybe let me go back to this. Go back to the slides on the analytics. So okay, maybe just this. So as I mentioned earlier, these analytics are already embedded inside the Asset Monitor, right? So these rules are already there, right? When you want to look at balance, imbalance, or misalignment, what it does is it will just compare vibration on the 1x, right? 1x of imbalance, and misalignment, it'll look at the 2x running speed, and against the alarm setup via the ISO standards or even your custom alarms, right? So that is the, I would say it's simple. The kind of analytics from imbalance, from misalignment is simple. And even from bearing, you will just look at all this FTF, BSF, BPFO, and so on, based on the bearing that you configure during the beginning, right? So it's I'll say it's more on it's not so complicated lah. I'll say it's not so complex. The kind of analytic rules that's available within this asset monitor. The key point is it does it automatically for you, and you get the results fast, right? Rather than you have to manually collect data, look at the plots and so on, and then you can come up with the conclusion. But what it does here is everything is done automatically for you and presented for you in terms of the bar graph earlier, right? So that I hope that answers the question, Rejaki. Is it
Yeah.
okay?
I think
Or maybe you
your
want to add
slide-
on? You want to add on, Rejaki?
Yeah, I see your slide about the study
Analytics.
cases. Yeah,
Case study, yeah.
the
Okay.
study at the F&B ingredient, I think.
Ingredient. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is good example. Yeah, but
Yep.
yeah, we collect data using AMS 2140, but it's not too manual. Yeah, manual, but it's compare between 2140 and the asset monitor, and
Yep.
we see that it's confirmed. Yeah,
Yeah.
duplication problem. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
But in this case study, the 2140 also already give like automatic, automatic.
Yeah. Because
Duplication from PQ plus.
Yeah. Because as I mentioned, PeakView Plus, it's also available in 2140, right? So you can get this bug indication here if you have a latest version of the 2140. Yeah. So
Yes.
so that is the beauty of it. It's available across our products.
Yeah, and usually after we take or we collect data from portables or 2140, we convert the data to the software, and we do manual analysis, and then
Yes.
I think it also will confirm that the lubrication problem.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Okay, and then another question, Adit. How about the hazardous area rating for the asset monitor?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We do have the certification. So it's basically it's a Edge device, right? So we do have all this class 1 div 2 rating as well. It's let me just share another I did not show it in the main slide, but there is this hazardous rating here. Let me see. Okay, this one. Okay, so we do have all the certification on the asset monitor, because once again, yeah, it's meant to be installed in the field. Yeah, you don't install this inside the control room, inside electrical instrument building or so on. You install it in the field because it's meant to be a edge device. So because of that, yeah, we do have all this certification: CSA, Class 1 Div 2, ATEX Zone 2, and so on, right? So yep, it's all available, right? Yeah.
Okay, we have Pak Muhammad Siddiq, want to ask question.
Yep.
Please,
Yep,
Pak Muhammad Siddiq.
Okay, Sip, thank you. You can hear my sound?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, before that, thank you, Mr. Muhammad Adib. My question is simply, we know very much different from IMS and KSI 12140. This is very different. This friendly to use and simply to use the new era. My question is simple. If can IMS asset monitor correct the balancing in the field?
Oh.
If we using health analyzer, we can correct it. This we can correct or no? This is my question. Thank you, Mister.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Siddiq, for the question. All right. The simple answer is no. It's you will still need your portable analyzer. As I mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, portable analyzer is still a very important tool. even when you're talking about the new way of monitoring your assets, you still need portable analyzer. You know, for example, to verify the data, verify whether the fault is there, and the benefit added advantage of AMS 2140, it's also a corrective tool, right? You can also use it to do your balancing, right? And then you can get the output from there easily. So yeah, to summarize, AMS Asset Monitor does not do the correction for you. You still need AMS 2140 to do that, right? And then AMS Asset Monitor will verify. Okay, once you do the balancing, okay, then you can see the bar graph percentage will go back up to 100% or close to 100%, right? So that is the idea of when to use Asset Monitor and when to use 2140, right? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you, Pak Siddiq.
Good answer, Pak Siddiq. Thank you. Sorry, good questions and great answer by Pak Adit. Oh yeah, and so it means that Asset Monitor didn't or doesn't replace the Asset MS 2140, right?
Yeah, yes, that's right.
And
That's right.
I heard also so many questions about the wireless vibration. Is it will be replaced by this Asset Monitor or how, Mr. Adit?
Wireless is also a solution that you can consider. Actually, if you look at the strategy that I shared earlier, right? When looking at, let me just share this one more time, of doing the automated monitoring, yeah, right? This strategy. So actually, wireless is also one of the way to do it, right? So we are not replacing, we're not going out there to replace wireless. There are some, wireless can be part of it as well, right? The only thing is wireless will not give you the kind of analytics that's available in Asset Monitor, right? That's one advantage that Asset Monitor has over wireless, I'll say, right? Yeah, so it's complementary. I'll say it's complementary. Yeah, we're not using this to replace this, but depends on the situation. Sometimes maybe wireless can be better fit to your problem, or maybe Asset Monitor can be a better fit, right? Yeah, so it's still there. Yeah, wireless is still there. Yeah.
Yeah, still there, yeah.
Yes.
And also we got some good best practice, yeah, in the cooling tower, yeah. That in terms of the hardware, Asset Monitor is more reliable, yeah, based on the instrument or the hardware, yeah. Is it true or it is same?
It will depend on the mounting position and so on, because I'll say cooling tower, one of the difficulty will be the gearbox, right? You want to monitor the gearbox inside. Yeah. Sometimes maybe wireless might not be so suitable, because if you put the wireless inside that cooling tower near the gearbox, you're gonna have problem getting the data out, getting the connectivity. That is one common challenge of mounting wireless inside the cooling tower. So maybe for that kind of situation, wired solution might be better. You know, accelerometer connected to an Asset Monitor, and the Asset Monitor will still be sending data out wirelessly, right, to your desktop, for example, or to the software. Right? So yeah, I think it depends. Yeah, as I mentioned, wireless and Asset Monitor are still complementary. There are some cases maybe wireless can be better, or some cases maybe Asset Monitor will be a better fit, right? It depends. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Adit.
Yep. Yes.
Sorry.
That's a
I
question.
think that's all the questions, Mr. Adit.